Hey, how's it going, guys? It's the Lobster here, and welcome back to another Rocket League video. And in this one, guys, we're going to be going over a bunch of news with the new Season 4, as well as the end of Season 3, kind of just that stuff in general. But honestly, there is a ton to talk about. Now, I know that this news is a couple days late. I just knew it wasn't very pressing stuff, but still, there's a lot of interesting changes that are going to be made for next season in regards to map preferences, rankings, how you get paired with opponents, just stuff like that. And we're going to be going through every single thing here today. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed today's video or learned something new, be sure to leave a like because it does help me out a ton and I really do appreciate it. And without further ado here, let's jump straight into it. Alright guys, so starting it off with probably the saddest thing, at least for me in regards to Season 4, is that Neo Tokyo is officially being removed from the competitive playlist. So yeah, this one is just, it's honestly kind of weird because I fully get that a lot of people don't like Neo Tokyo, especially in competitive, but it's just sort of odd that they only chose to take out Neo Tokyo when I'm pretty sure that Starbase Arc is hated by practically everyone. Like Neo Tokyo, there's a bunch of people that do like it. If you learn the ramps, the corners, it is a fun way to change things up, but freaking Starbase Arc, I don't know if I've ran into a single person that likes it. I mean, unless you like going for those super long voyages for boost along the sides, it's probably the least favorite map. So it is weird that they decided to take Neo Tokyo out instead of just taking them all out, or going with Starbase Arc, which people just don't seem to like. But either way, it's not the biggest deal. I do, of course, prefer the regular maps, as do most people, but Neo Tokyo will still be in the regular playlist, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Now, along with this, they did decide to tweak the map preference system, which as of right now, I honestly thought this thing was a freaking placebo. I didn't think it actually did anything. I mean, considering I've gotten Starbase Arc 3 times in a row when everybody in my party had it disliked, I didn't think it actually had a purpose. But according to this new article, they're finally refining this system to actually have a better effect on things, and they specifically said that 3 things have been changed, with the first of which being, quote, if half of the players in a server dislike a map, it will appear 50% less often. So that's definitely really nice. Again, I don't know how it worked in the past, but if you're playing in a party and your entire team has like Starbase Arc disliked, it should appear 50% less, which is definitely how it should have been in the first place. Now for the second thing that is said here, it says that if one player likes a map and another player dislikes it, it will appear as often as normal. So basically they pretty much cancel each other out, which again makes a ton of sense. I'm not sure why it didn't do this to start off with, but still, I guess it's pretty nice to have it now. And as for the third thing here, it says if all of the players in a server dislike a map, it will now never appear. So this thing, finally we can probably see Starbase Arc a lot less. And I'm sorry I'm ripping on Starbase Arc so much. It's a very nice looking map, but the shape of it is just a nightmare. So with these new arena preference tweaks, it should help out a lot better. And really, I am definitely looking forward to that. Now moving on to something that has to do with Season 4 itself, and specifically the ranks. There's actually a few things to talk about here, and the first of which is kind of small, but I still thought it was kind of interesting. They decided to change a bunch of the symbols for the ranks from how they were in the original Season 4 announcement. So I'll put both of the images side to side here because it is kind of interesting to see the changes, mainly in the platinum ranks and the gold ranks, but most importantly, the new Grand Champion symbol changed a ton. Now I will say that it does look sick, but I kind of like the original one, which if you didn't know was kind of designed after the Rocket League ball itself, which I thought was really cool, but this one is pretty nice and it definitely does stand out. Now speaking of the Grand Champion rank and also just the champion ranks in general for this new season, they did say that if you're in the champion ranks as of right now in Season 3, and this kind of gives an idea of how they're splitting up these new divisions, but again, if you're in the champion ranks currently, they said you will probably be in either the new platinum rank or the new champion rank. So overall, not too bad. That's kind of what we expected, but again, it does give you a fairly nice idea of how your current rank might be carried over to the next season. And as for Grand Champion itself, they did say it will be significantly harder to get than the current Grand Champion, so it will kind of be similar to the way it was in Season 3 before the recalibration, and it'll be just as tough to get as it was then. Now as for the other ranks here, and this is a very nice change from the past seasons, they've now changed the amount of divisions for each tier and each rank specifically, so everyone, instead of having 5 divisions now, will now have 4. So this is definitely something that I'm excited for, because I think that having 5 5 divisions is just so much to go through, and it's honestly a ton of games to play and a ton of games to win, that this will just better disperse the players and also make it more fun to try and grind to those next ranks without so much time in between them. But moving on again here to another thing that still has to do with rankings, but more specifically it has to do with how they're going to reset the ranks in the beginning of the season. So this is actually very nice, because if you were here for the start of season 3, when they reset the ranks at the beginning of it, you could literally have rookies going against Kronovi in the very beginning. Like, those beginning matches when you were first getting calibrated to what your skill was took no info from the previous seasons or your current MMR in casual and just freaking threw you in with random players and kind of sorted you out from there. Now, as for season 4, they decided to take a way better approach to this, and there will still be a reset, but it will not be as harsh as it was in the past, because when you first start to go into the calibration games, it will take into account your previous rankings in season 3. Now, along with this, it will also help you get to the rank you deserve a lot quicker instead of having to build up from like challenger as it was in the past. So that's definitely some good news to hear. But moving on once again here to the second to last thing that we're going to talk about in this video. But with this one, if you happen to think that season 3 was just, you know, a little bit long, which honestly was probably every single person that plays Rocket League, there is some good news for you, because Psyonix has officially said that they are starting to do more consistent seasons and keep them to shorter time frames. Now, of course, the first season that is going to start this off is season 4, and they said that the general time frame for the new seasons is going to be around 4 months. So that of course depends on things that go on within the season, if they need to recalibrate stuff, but generally 4 months is what you can expect for new seasons. Now that of course is great news to hear. We finally get to have a time span in our heads to plan for these seasons and know pretty much when they're going to come to an end so that we can grind for those higher ranks, which is just awesome all around. I'm definitely behind this. But moving on to the final thing of this news article that they put up, and this might be the biggest thing about it, but they are making another change to matchmaking rating, or MMR, and how it decides to kind of rank you and put you with teammates and opponents. So with this one, if you didn't know, in the past, Rocket League used an MMR system that was mainly conservative, meaning that it accounts for a little bit of uncertainty with how you performed in games, and overall it's a little more general than they would have liked. So with that being said, you can sometimes get put against really good opponents, and other times you can get put against people that should be way lower than you. Now with this new system, they weren't very clear on how it works exactly. In fact, they were pretty vague on it, but what I can understand from it generally is that it should be more accurate and put you against people that are pretty much as close to your skill level as they can find. And this should technically be a good thing, because it does lead to more fair matches, and you should be able to rank up more efficiently. Now along with this, they did also change some things in matchmaking, such as general speed and quality enhancements to allow for faster and more reliable matchmaking, which, you know, is always good. But then along with that, they also added more intelligent matchmaking, which kind of goes along with the previous MMR changes, and it bases it on skill as well as how populated your selected playlists and regions are. So in conclusion, just a bunch of good matchmaking changes that should be great for us overall. But anyways guys, that is pretty much all the news I have for you about season 4 and the changes to ranked and stuff like that. So if you guys enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like down below, because it does help me out a ton, and do not forget to subscribe, as well as check out some of my previous videos, which should be popping up on the screen right now, including a video about 5 important tips to help you get to those ranks before the season ends, and also looking at the Dropshot game mode in depth. But other than that guys, again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm the Llama Sir, and I will see you guys next time.